How's it going? Welcome back to the Marvel Snap deck highlight here on YouTube. Our second Battle Pass season, Love and Thunder, is underway, and that means Thor has landed in the client. So naturally, I had to take our latest addition to Marvel Snap out for a spin. Before we dive on into the details, remember if you enjoy videos like this to tap that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I do deck highlights here as well as other Marvel Snap news updates a few times a week, and you wouldn't want to miss anything. So Thor at the base level is nothing really to write home about. 4 mana for 6 power, but on reveal, it shuffles a hammer into our deck. The hammer is a 0 mana play that offers 0 power on its own, but notably gives Thor plus 6 power. So kind of an inconsistent 12 power 4/4 resources, which is pretty above rate. You know, even on rate for a 5 mana card is only 10 power. So if you can get Thor and his hammer together, you get a pretty okay payoff for the work. The question is, 1, how do we get to the hammer consistently? And 2, when we get the hammer, is there anything else we can do with it to get even more out of it? So the next part of this deck, the thing that I felt kind of made Thor potential, was Lockjaw here. So Lockjaw says, when you play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck. With Lockjaw, it means we're more likely to find the hammer to begin with, because we can swap a card out with Lockjaw into the hammer. But if we draw the hammer naturally, it also works well with Lockjaw, because you can play the hammer for free, boost your Thor, and then swap that hammer out for a different card in your deck, and then potentially swap back into the hammer again later to make Thor even bigger. Speaking of triggering the hammer multiple times, a third card that's definitely fantastic in this archetype is Flavor Win Odin. Works very well with Thor and his hammer. On turn 6, you can play the hammer and play Odin at the same location, which will trigger the hammer twice, kicking your Thor up to a whopping 18 power, which is definitely quite fantastic. The rest of this deck are cards that work with Odin nicely, such as Jubilee and White Tiger, as well as other kind of big things we would like to try and cheat into play off of Lockjaw and Jubilee, such as Magneto, Giganto, and the Infinite. One card in particular I'd like to call out here is, I think Vision is quite good in this archetype, because it's a bigger card that you can flip into with Lockjaw that you can then move out of Lockjaw's space, effectively allowing us to Lockjaw an additional time over the course of the game. At any rate, I hope you enjoy the game highlights that I have for you today. I have some where Thor pops off with his hammer, but I also have a couple in here where Thor and the hammer don't really get together, but the rest of the deck, thanks to Lockjaw and Odin, are still able to kind of do something that's reasonable. Enjoy, and I'll be back real soon with some more Marvel Snap here on YouTube. We're so unlucky when it comes to cost increases hitting our Lockjaw. Okay, chat, we get to play Thor on Sinister London, which is really good, because it means not only will we get 2 Mjolnirs into our deck, but we'll get 2 that get increased by it when we play it out. So I think this is a Thor on... on what's it called? Game 4, rather than Lockjaw. Do I want to Sentinel and start filling my board up? I think so. Honestly, it could be a snap, yeah. If they wave here, am I still supposed to Thor? I think the answer is yes, because then I could also Infinite double. I could skip 5, soak mana into here. I'm gonna snap here. We're gonna double Thor. Although I guess the problem with skipping on 5 here is because we double Sentinel, we wouldn't be able to draw. So maybe we can't do that. Yeah, we could just double Magneto. And so Grand Central will pull a card, but the problem with that is if it's Sentinel, we still don't get to draw next turn, right? So we're 2 out of 7 for that not to work. We're 1 in 3 to draw a hammer next turn. It's close. I kind of want to just Lockjaw here. It's tough. It's tough. I'm going to pass. Okay, we win, right? We go Infinite here, Hammer here.
Victory.
Okay, because Hammer kicks this Thor up to 12. Kicks this one up to 12 too, but so what? The one they needed to put it concurs that they are torched. Yep. The Okoyo treatment. The Zoo decks struggle against lockdowns like Storm and Professor X. That's not really true. The Zoo decks like Sarah that explicitly want to play on the very last turn struggle in those situations, but the Khazar Zoo decks that play to the board proactively tend to do really well into the lockdown because they play out early. It depends on when it wants to sequence. Yeah, the Zoo decks can really play into Storm. And Professor X, Professor X isn't good into anyone. Professor X is a high variance RNG shit show that randomly wins one person the game when it comes down. Sometimes it randomly wins your opponent the game, and sometimes it randomly wins you the game. It's just the highest variance card in this game. It's like flipping a coin, gambling if your opponent's gonna play to the same location you did. Huh? So do we Thor into Jubilee then? This feels like a Thor into Jubilee into Asgard. Could also be Lockjaw into Jubilee, but Asgard gives us a high probability of Thor being really good. And with Odin rolled up in hand, if we can find Mjolnir, we'll win that location hard, especially if they play into it as well.
Wind, aid my hand.
Face the might of Asgard. Mjolnir.
Okay, now that's an interesting proposition here. Because they flooded center, do we just Jubilee mid now? I'm kind of into Jubilee mid. We have what in our deck? We have Infinite, Sunspot, Sentinel, Vision, White Tiger, and Mjolnir. They're gonna Juggernaut mid? I mean, if they Juggernaut mid, that's also still fine. It just means Jubilee goes somewhere else. I think I'm gonna Jubilee mid rather than Asgard. Wow, and they played to Asgard. Okay, they want the cards instead of the location.
Mjolnir to me.
That's kind of a funny result. So now we play Vision out. Oh, Magneto's gonna win flooded. He totally does, doesn't he? That's a good shout. Yeah, we'll play Vision here. Yeah. And then we can Vision into Crimson Cosmos potentially along with Magneto to win that. Captain Marvel makes the game logistically more complicated. I think it's still just Magneto here. I think we have to leave Vision here, right? It could also just be Vision Center Giganto left, because of Captain Marvel, because Marvel just jumps in to win the center if we pull Storm out, right? And she can only at best tie center here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move Vision mid and then play Giganto left here. Sweet.
Victory.
All right, Thor with Sinister London is not the worst if we can manage to find our way over. Double Ant-Man, not bad for them. Miniaturized lab, okay. Lockjaw's actually not great with Sinister London. Because the cards that get copied from London aren't technically played. Oh my god. We're so unlucky with this Icebox. Actually, every time Icebox and Iceman have flipped up, they just, like, always hit exactly the card I'm hoping to play on curve. Wave lets us get away with it, huh? Do we Thor or do we double Magneto now? It's actually kind of close. The upside to Thor is actually pretty high because we get to, like, quad hammer. I think it's actually right to Thor here. Because if the hammer shows up, we have Odin to pair with it too.
Face the might of Asgard. Mjolnir. Mjolnir.
Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. And do I want to Jubilee into here? What if I Jubilee into here? Would I rather Vision or Jubilee? We're waiting to hammer, chat. What's my deck right now? My deck has 5 cards. Those 5 cards are Giganto, White Tiger, Psylocke, Sentinel. Jubilee's not very good because I've got a lot of breaks. There's another hammer is true. The upside of hitting another hammer is high. I think I'd rather just Vision. I think that's the more consistent play. It would be really nice to be able to view your deck in client, you know? And then we do this, right? This is the line.
Oh, snap.
Right. Okay, it's fine. We're winning center.
Mjolnir to me. Mjolnir to me. Mjolnir to me. Mjolnir to me. Mjolnir. Mjolnir to me. Mjolnir to me. Defeat.
So if Thor had gone right, this would have been another 14 into here, and we would have won, right? We actually would have won if Odin hit right. So they won the coin flip. We lost 2 coin flips in a row. If Onslaught goes center, we win. Or if Odin goes right, we win. So we lost two RNG flips on that, unfortunately. I guess this was a little bit less than a coin flip because we technically needed Mjolnir and Odin to both go here. So this first one was a pure flip, and this one was 1 in 4, right? So we lost 50%er and then a 25%er for both of these to go here. I think Morph's a pretty unplayable card. I think decks like this would have to be a lot more popular than they are for Morph to be playable. In fact, it's probably more specifically as long as the Zoo decks are one of the most popular decks, the discard decks, Morph gets pretty bad. Am I punting Asgard with them committing Bucky Barnes here? I honestly might be. I also can't play into the big house though, so maybe we just can't afford to punt Asgard. Well, the bonus from this isn't going to do anything now, but I could try and lock them out of it.
Opponent snapped.
Snapped. Yeah, I think that's fine. I wish I knew what Jubilee was doing. I guess the fact that we have all of our little drops in our deck makes this Jubilee pretty bad. Alright, I've got like 2 or 3 more games to throw away cubes with this deck, and then we're gonna move along, I think. Thor. To set a low bar, this is better than the Thor decks we played yesterday, but... Do I have death? No, chat. If I haven't played a deck with a cool key enabler on stream, I don't have the card. That's the just way to answer your own question. Has Jeff played a deck in the past? The answer is no. We don't have it. I got Lockjaw last night, and we're playing it this morning. If we have it, we'll play it. This is a card I really like to open too. This goes into a couple of the decks I've been enjoying. Do I want to get Lockjaw going? I really don't have a good location to get Lockjaw going. But I also just like, I can soak the extra mana this turn. Grand Central is going to fill something extra up. We just Lockjaw here, then we'll Jubilee here next turn. Oh! Deal? It's a sweet Killmonger art. I'm gonna snap before the Jubilee flips up here because we got a lot of bomb diggities in our deck. We get 2 shots at bombs. We're probably about to be winning Asgard really hard, he says to himself before flipping up a... Well, I guess our Sunspot, our Sentinel, and our Psylocke are all out, right? So Jubilee should be great. Pretty good, chat. Pretty good. Okay, and now we Jubilee left. Because we could Odin Jubilee potentially, and one of these is going down there. If this is the real Mysterio, Asgard could still be in play for them. So one of these 3 Mysterios has 5 power. Wait, our deck only has 1. No! I was like, oh, our deck only has 1 card in it. We get to draw Mjolnir next turn. What a fucking tease. Good golly. Oh, that's kind of funny. Okay, well, I mean, I think with Giganto, we're probably in a fine spot here still, right? Because, like, if this is the real Mysterio and they Chavez us, we're going to 24 here, and this is totally 23. And if this is the real Mysterio, they need to commit, like, here and here to win, which they probably can't do. I think Strong Guy needs a nerf. I think they need to, like I just said, I think they either need to adjust the things that are giving +2 more aggressively, probably, or give the six mana things more. Like Hulk, Magneto, all. I think every non-Chavez 6-drop could use more stats. I think Chavez is probably the only 6-drop in the game that has enough stats for what the mana cost is. In my opinion. Feel free to disagree. That's subjective. But yeah, playing the game, especially seeing how the decks are consistently these cheap swarm decks that are at the top, they either need to nerf the +2s or give you more payoff for playing bigger things. It feels like this is what needs to happen. This is a really awful Jubilee. There's a good chance we just back out after this, because we currently have Sunspot, Psylocke, and Sentinel all in our deck, and we've got all our 6-drops in our hand.
Wind, aid my
Well, their Jubilee was also bad, so maybe. If they're not snapping, I'm gonna play Thor here, and we'll take a draw step. I think it'll be 1 in 5 to pick the hammer up. Yeah. If we draw hammer next turn, we could go White Tiger to win middle, and then hammer win Space Throne.
Face the might of Asgard. Mjolnir.
Okay, yeah. This works out for us, right? Just like we said. Puts a 7 into the center and a Mjolnir to power this up.
Oh, snap.
We don't win mid? The Tiger's +7 in the mid. Space Throne can't have another card added to it.
Mjolnir, to me. Victory.
Hey, thanks to one of the awesome folks that made it all the way to the end of the video. Remember, if you want to see more stuff like this here, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm absolutely loving all things Marvel Snap, and I'd love to do more of this, and your support makes that possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back again real soon for more Snap content here on YouTube.